site has won the night. So that has spiced it up just a little bit tomorrow night, and I'm happy. I'm happy about that. So thanks again to Keto Brainz. Not only do I love their product, but they become really, really great friends who obviously watch the show a lot, which I also love. So it's like, this is great. Feels good. All right. With that, we got Mike Baldwin coming up in a little bit. So don't go anywhere. Let's get this kicked off, shall we?
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rip!
I wanted to bring it up so that it would already be on the record from when Mike shows up. But this is from Oddity Central. A man develops fungal lung infection due to dirty sock smelling habit. I wouldn't call it a habit. I'd call it a fetish. A Chinese man who had developed a habit of smelling his own dirty socks after wearing them for a whole day has been diagnosed with fungal lung infection. A middle-aged office worker from Chongqing, whose name was not revealed by the media, has recently admitted to the Southwest Hospital of the Army Medical University with a persistent cough. The man told doctors his cough had worsened in recent days despite taking cough syrup, and that his eyes had become bloodshot, which prompted him to seek medical attention. After conducting CT and MRI examinations, doctors found a suspicious shadow in his lower right lung, and subsequent bronchoscopy showed that the patient suffered from fungal lung disease. So, I mean, they questioned him enough to get it out of him. And he finally, I mean, if you were in that position, what would you do? If you know that you just liked smelling dirty ass socks, yours in particular, if that's just something you liked, that you can't get enough of your own stink, and suddenly you're sick because of it, is there any line of questioning that would ever bring it out of you at a hospital? Now, I guess if you're scared for your life and you think that the doctor knowing absolutely everything about the origin of your ails is going to help them save your life, I guess you got to, right? But how many of you out there would say, I want to go down with my dignity intact, and I don't want anybody to know that I was sniffing socks right into an early grave? How many of you would do that? In fact, I'm going to look at the chat rooms right now. If you went to if you had this, you felt this brewing inside of you, and you knew it was because of the sock smelling, spam in the chat room. 1, if you would tell the doctor, and 2, if you would take that shit to the grave and just hope that they found a cure. 1, if you would tell the doctor, and 2, if you're taking it to the grave. I can see you on YouTube, on Rumble, on D Live, Kick, wherever you are. I'm watching you. Let's see. 1s and 2s. 1s and 2s, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Already a couple of 2s are coming in. A couple of 2s. We got 1. Well, there's a 1. Oh, okay. Couple more 1s. They're like, fine, whatever. I am what I am. I smell my own socks. Fine. Just please save my life, and I will work on this habit later on. But there's a good amount of 2s there. They're just like, I can't face myself. I can't face myself today. So, oh yeah, Mark Swan said I would want it on my headstone. See, Mark is going right over everything. That's the third option. Not only would I tell the doctor, but I want everybody to know this is who I am. This is a part of me. So, I don't know. We were talking about a lot of stinks the other time. The other day that Mike was on, was it 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, Mike Baldwin was on. We were talking about a woman who had such an acute sense of smell that she'd be able to pick up, I think she was a nurse, pick up exactly what kind of a disease people are having. And we're going into all of the different types of smells associated with the different types of diseases. I think we were talking about typhoid or typhus. There was Alzheimer's and different categories of dementia. And I forgot whatever the hell else too. But, you know, then of course I saw the socks. I said, well, here's another one for you. Fungal lung infection due to dirty sock smelling habit. And the chat room has spoken. Got to bring that one up. Here's one for you too. Oh wait, here's right on time. Right on time. MikeIsFunny.com. Mike Baldwin returns for another spot on a Friday night excursion on Quite Frankly.tv and elsewhere. What's going on, Mike? How you doing?
Hey, what's up? Is everything working?
Everything's fine.
Nice. All right.
Did you hear anything up until this point about the dirty socks and stuff?
Yeah, and it doesn't say in that article that they determined that the socks were the cause. They just said a man with a fungal infection admits to smelling his own socks. So you know that he was like, sometimes I eat stale food. Like I smell my socks when I take them off. And the doctor wrote that down and told other people. And then they were probably like, he'd spent a night in a basement or something and got a fungal infection. And it's just for the news, man who smells socks.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I wonder if that's a great idea. I mean, then again, if perhaps this is actually a really big problem and perhaps they were actually able to test what was going on in the, I should have read a little bit farther because maybe they were actually able to identify the fungal spores that were present in the socks that came from his body that are actually in his lungs now. Maybe there's actually a real link there. Otherwise, I would also say you got to air quality test it at home because perhaps it's just something that he's living in, almost like being around asbestos or something like that. But the other thing that comes up for this, and I think it's a great opener for us tonight, Mike, is that the last time you were in, we were talking about what certain diseases smell like based on that woman with the superpower. And when I leave the studio here every night, I'm often greeted by the wafting aromas from a nearby bakery. And sometimes it's sweet, like blueberry muffins. Other times it's savory, like the onion bagels you get in the morning. And but that night that I left after you and I spoke, I couldn't tell for sure if it was fresh baked scones that I was smelling, or if
tuberculosis,
or if it was Alzheimer's from somebody down the street. Oh man, it's just the things that's in your mind once you have these conversations. I love it.
Me too.
Yeah. So how's life been? I love the stuff you've been posting to your Instagram lately. The clips of you live have been really sensational. I played the clip of the transgender sports clip. I just love the shorts have been great.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I've been playing more with just straight up saying to the audience, all right, yell things. Like, give me something and I'll riff on it for a minute, which I hate to do. Like, as a comedian, we spend years like writing and editing and practicing and all that. But with the internet and reels and all that stuff, I mean, you can't spend 5 or 10 years like perfecting an act as much anymore because people are like, I've seen this already. Like, what's new? What do you have that's new? So I've found that just winging it sometimes, I'll do an hour if I'm the main guy at a comedy club, and I've still got a good 30, 45 minutes that are like my act, but then I'll spend 5 or 10 minutes just being like, all right, let's mess around. Give me some ideas. And then, that couple in the front row yelled out transgender athletes. And then what else did they say? Bird flu. Yep. And I was like, what are you guys watching? Like, anyway,
dude, well, I bet you any money it's going to be a lot more than 10 to 15 minutes. It's something that not a lot of people can do. Not a lot of people at all, or well at that. And again, like you said, with the nature, which is the very nature of how the internet is set up to reward content and how little time you actually have to turn things around and you can't duplicate yourself over and over again. it sets you apart, and it's funny, man. So again, it's almost I know hip hop artists all throughout my life because we're always hanging out in different musical groups, and for a time we were recording a lot of bands and individual artists, and as well as producing other podcasts years ago. So we were always meeting people at varying levels of talent, who did some things good, couldn't do others, that could write really well, but off the dome, it was they froze up. So and it's totally fine, but it's a very, I mean, that's a circus sideshow in itself for you to be able to be that fluid with people on the fly. That's going to work for you down the line.
Well, thanks. I always say, like, I'm not funny on purpose. I just say things, and then like that's what a lot of my comedy is me just like the other day I was talking about how I don't want to get a DNA test because I'm scared of Bill Gates and the government like knowing what my DNA is and then matching it to some billionaire's kidney transplant and crashing my car into a tree or something. And they laughed, but I'm just saying exactly what I'm afraid of, you know. But I can't complain as long as they're laughing, I guess, then I'm doing my job.
These are the things that keep me up at night. If I am inadvertently paired as a kidney match for some dying millionaire out there who needs it, why the hell would they ever think twice about driving my car into a tree somewhere? I get you.
Or hitting me with a heart attack gun or any number of other things, you know? And then the news story is just like, oh, this 40-some-year-old dude just died alone in his apartment. He was an organ donor.
Organ donating. Oh, we have to talk about organ donation one night. I have a few things set aside for that. But, you know, speaking of Bill Gates, before we get into the main act tonight, which is I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 classic 1990s anti-drug PSA videos over here that I'd love just to watch with you, to comment on, and all that stuff. I here's another thing I saw, odd news. New antiviral, since you brought up Bill Gates, new antiviral chewing gum could not only help prevent flu, but also herpes infections. Scientists from Finland and the United States have developed a special type of chewing gum that can trap and neutralize some influenza and herpes viruses. So I think this is good for the world, I'm sure.
My girlfriend's like, why do you want me to chew gum while I blow you all of a sudden? Just chew it. Here, take another piece.
Oh, try it. I love it. Okay, well, so see, just wanted to put out there. Yeah, the world is getting better for all of us. All right.
That's a long story, but I had herpes once for 2 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. See, and when I say that, most people are like, if you have it, then you have it forever. But it turns out I just thought that I had it, and it was something completely different. But yeah, I took the medicine. I like got on herpes dating sites. I hooked up with herpes girls, like all of this stuff. And then 2 years later, a different doctor was like, here, try this cream. And I put some cream on it and the thing went away. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I didn't have that whole time.
So when you're dating the girls, obviously, what I've heard is that as long as somebody's not in a flare-up, you can't pass it along to somebody. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And when and that's why I see girls, if they hurt down there, it's very easy for them to say, I don't want to have sex because it hurts right now. So it's not as likely for guys to get it from girls, but dudes, even if their dick hurts, they're still like, well, I mean, you know,
we can
I'm gonna have sex still. Like it doesn't matter if it hurts.
Wow, Mike. And so for 2 years you lived as
Yes, I lived the life of a man with herpes. And it was a super foreign. It doesn't matter if he was foreign. I'm just painting a picture. But I went to the free clinic and I was like, what is this? And the guy goes, herpes. And I was like, oh God, what? Isn't there like a blood test or something? And he was like, is herpes. And I was like, okay. And I just started taking the medicine that day.
What, Valtrex?
Well, it was like a generic version, whatever it's called. I can't remember now. I'm 43 now. It was probably when I was 20, between 25 and 30, I would guess.
This is hilarious. It's hilarious now that you don't have herpes. But the thing is that for 2 years, you were on the herpes dating sites, and at that point, you're walking, and you didn't know this. You're walking a minefield because you actually didn't have herpes.
Right.
And so after this was confirmed for you, obviously you went for an extensive round of testing, right?
Oh yeah. Like, and I'd never gotten a blood test in that whole 2 years, which is like the defining way to know. But even some doctors will say even the blood test can't tell you for sure. But I mean, I'm fine. Everything's fine, ladies.
Good. That's good. Have you ever talked about that in part of your act? Because
I've told the story before, but it's not a like a punchline-y sort of story.
Right.
It just makes people go, ah.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but yes, I've tried, and it's in. If you go back through all my reels, it's in there somewhere, but it's not good. Don't watch that one.
Tried to make it funny. No, listen, that just leveled me right now. I absolutely love that, and I'm also very happy that you are well. So
yeah, but that's a good like PSA for people that do have herpes, which is like you're gonna be fine. Like you can still live a normal life, and there's plenty of dudes like me who will think that they already have it and marry you or whatever.
I know. It's just this. Well, listen, everything is.
Anyway, sorry, I totally took that off on. We got drug PSAs to watch.
It was a very pleasant derailing. I'm going to remember this one forever. I really am, and I'm sure everybody else will too. Okay, so the first one here is 1990. And I will say, everybody, I can't wait to get around to all your super chats, both Rumble Rants, the gold pills, and tonight. Mike, you're here on a very momentous occasion here. I lost my super chats on YouTube in April of 2020. It's 5 years almost to the day. I don't actually know what the day is. It could be the actual day. Today, they were reinstated. I have super chats for the first time in 5 years, and I saw a couple of already sitting there, and it's really surreal to see, but that's nice to have a little bit extra functionality back there. And thank you all for supporting the show. Let's do this here. Number one, this is Marijuana 1990. It's a PSA, and let's watch it. 1 minute long. They're at a hospital.
Young people from all walks of life have volunteered to take part in a frightening experiment. For a short time each day, they are allowing their brains to be altered. Altered to the degree that paranoia has been induced. Altered to cause loss of motor functions. Altered to have adverse effects on reproductive organs. Altered to produce heart malfunction and destruction of brain cells to the point of memory loss. And acceleration of the aging process. The most frightening part of this experiment is that it is not an experiment. It's what slowly happens to you when you keep smoking pot. No one has to alter your brain. You've already volunteered to do it to yourself.
So it's you want to talk about? Go ahead, Mike.
It's like one of those things that 15-year-old me would be like, fuck yeah. Let's go inhibit our motor functions, guys.
I'm telling you, it's just funny because you're talking about parts of your act, paranoia of why you don't want anybody to have any DNA or whatever like that. And here we are. Of course, it leads with paranoia, brain function, loss of motor function, and accelerated aging. I particularly love how he's been led into this examination room, and the nurse looks over at him with such disdain and disgust. Oh, look, he's here. Look there, he's arrived. Oh, I just wonder what they're going to do to him. So that's
and then they're just like, here, smoke this joint.
Yeah,
that'll be $5,000, please.
That's it. Now now this one right here. I got to say, Everybody has to remember this one if you're anywhere near my age. This is your brain on drugs. Okay, here we go.
Is there anyone out there who still isn't clear about what doing drugs does? Okay, last time. This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yes, so many.
What else do you need to know?
What I mean, if I was a kid who hadn't experienced drugs, I would think like, oh, well, I would rather be a nice cooked egg than like an uncracked closed egg. A cooked egg helps people. I want to help people.
Dude, see, last night's show was about, in large part, about intelligence operations and their influence on popular culture through media. So we had television, radio, movies, all that stuff. And a viewer of the show, Tim, started hitting me up with all these anti-drug PSA videos, and some of them I had totally forgotten about. This one I did not. And I remember this one back in the day when he fried up that egg. I remember feeling as a 7-8-year-old, all this commercial made me want to do was have over easy eggs. And because it was clearly over easy, I don't know how he did it because he didn't flip it. Did you notice that? Like, look at the egg. So he cracks the egg in
your brain.
there.
This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs.
So it's either that yolk is completely drained of any and all color, which has to be nutritionally deficient in some way, or I mean, what the hell is that? It came out over easy?
No, yeah, it's white on top. I think it's just a really hot pan. You can see around the edges how it looks like it's sort of like frilling up a little. That's what it does when your pan's too hot, I think. But God, yeah, that turned white on top really quickly.
I love the crackling sound of this stuff, don't you?
Of cooking,
especially eggs. That's why it was one of my favorite PSAs. I just like the egg crackling.
What year were you born? 85?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm an 81 kid, so I was a little older than you, but yeah, I definitely remember this. And it's the common theme in all of these are they don't keep people off drugs. They might keep, I guess the whole like just say no thing is to keep you from ever starting drugs, but I don't know how well any of that worked because all we would do is joke about it. We would smoke weed in our DARE shirts, you know?
Yes. That's why we all kept our DARE shirts. We thought it was ironic. I always wore my DARE shirts when my band and I were playing gigs and hanging out at the bar and all that stuff. It just became ironic and a conversation starter. But, at the same time, compared to, and I brought this up last night, compared to drug policies that ruin people's lives and also embolden black markets and cartels and all stuff like that in the form of these formal drug wars, I'm totally fine with cheesy anti-drug messaging that was put on television. It might have been cheesy. Who knows how effective it was? It created some good memories, but at least it wasn't ruining people's lives like all the policies that were being passed in the 90s did. That's for sure. So I think it was always nice in that respect.
Yeah, I think we need some like famous people who famously talk shit on drugs. Because a lot of famous people are like, drinking's cool or like rap songs and stuff. And we're smoking weed and doing yayo and all of that. They make it cool, If we had like a #1 song about how drugs make you a douchebag or something like that, then people would like see a guy at a party and he would be like, you want to smoke this joint? And they'd be like, dude, what are you, a douchebag? Like the song. And then that would make people, that's the way to get people to not want to do drugs, is to be like, oh, I thought it was cool.
Well, did you ever see The Onion The Onion's old parody about smoking ads, anti-smoking ad. Okay,
I'd have to see it, but I might remember if.
Oh, dude. Okay, see, the Onion, I had to put this on over here. The Onion, this was, 14 years ago? I had to go and grab it.
Oh, I think I have seen this, yeah, but go ahead.
Nobody could touch the Onion. First generation Onion skits that were on YouTube and elsewhere 14, 15 years ago, they went places that nobody would go today. This is 2 minutes and 45 seconds long. It's hilarious. But let's watch at least a little bit of it. Here we go. Today,
a new
now,
campaign from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is already having a big impact on the way teens view smoking. Let's take a look.
Are they smoking? Or are they gay? It's gay to smoke.
And joining us here in the studio.
It's gay to smoke. It's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, that reminds me. I had a T-shirt in I don't know my 20s, and it just said "Cancer is gay," and nobody really liked it. But anyway,
Well,
yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. But I think that would work if it wasn't a joke, you know?
Right. No, I'm with you on that. Here's another one. This was always baffling to me. And I remember this one here too. This is the anti-marijuana commercial about the girl who was hallucinating that her dog is talking to her. Okay, here we go.
Hey, Lindsay? I wish you didn't smoke weed. You're not the same when you smoke. And I miss my friend. I'll be outside.
And the question at the end, how would you tell a friend?
I never, until you just said that, I never looked at that as, oh, she's high, and that's why she can hear the dog speaking English. I don't know what I thought, but I never made that connection. And that's why these commercials suck, because they've just got some like hoity-toity non-weed smoker that's like when people smoke weed, like they hear like their pets talking to them and stuff. Like he's just talking about what he's heard other people say about weed.
It's got big Son of Sam vibes.
They need to just show a guy like me, like in his robe at 3:00 in the afternoon, eating like a frozen pizza with his unopened ice cream next to him so it can be soft enough to eat by the time and then taking hits of weed in between all of that shit and just being like, is this what you want to be? But I guess when I describe that, that's exactly what like 12-year-old me would be like, hell yeah, that's what I want to do when I'm older.
Well, not only that, Mike, but the only thing that would be missing there, if I was stoned on the couch and I was eating a little something and I was defrosting a nice, pint of Haagen-Dazs or something like that, and I'm watching something on a Saturday, who knows? And I had a dog. That dog is not getting neglected because I'm high. That dog is getting extra of everything, including hugs. So I don't know. I don't know, like who the hell smoked and the first thing that they did was neglect their dog. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but weed has hindered me only because like I'll have several weeks at a time where I don't have any comedy shows or anything, and I wish that I had like a normal job, but any normal job you have to pass a drug test to work there, and then that gets into the whole thing of like, well, if I quit smoking weed to get a job at a factory, then I don't know. I'm rambling. But somebody did send me a message and ask why I have my Christmas tree up. And I would like to say yet again, it clearly has bunny ears on top of the Santa, making it not a Christmas tree, but an Easter tree. So stop complaining about it.
See?
It's seasonally appropriate.
It is. It's an intelligent tree. It is. All right. Let's see here. Next one. The next one, there was a neglect. There was a neglect commercial out there that really got me one time in the past. And it wasn't too far It wasn't in the 90s. It was a lot sooner than that. And I don't know if it was drug related, if like the kid went and smoked weed and blew off his grandmother or something like that. Like they had like lunch plans or something. And I remember the commercial just destroyed me because this little old grandma was sitting at the table in her kitchen with, you know, some sandwich stuff out and like a little table talk pie or something, obviously waiting for company that she was so excited to get. And she was getting stood up by a grandson or granddaughter who obviously had something else to do, or they got high or whatever. And I remember that just
like, did you cry?
No, but I didn't cry. But at the same time, I was just like, I'll have dinner with you.
When's the last time that you watched something that, like, I've gotten to that barrier, you know, where I'm just like,
you're choking it back.
Yeah, but then what's the last thing you've watched that just made you go like to cross that barrier?
I don't know, man.
For me, it was the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. I was in a hotel somewhere, and it was like they didn't have Wi-Fi or something, so I was just like, all right, well, whatever comes on HBO next, I'm watching it. And it was that, and like at the end, I mean, I was just in my hotel room by myself, like tears rolling down my face, happy and sad at the same time. But
I don't know. I mean, when Lauren and I were watching Interstellar, the first time I ever watched it, just passed in January for the film club, I was holding on to dear life, man. But all the father-daughter stuff with him and Murph, and saying goodbye and thinking about Aurora.
Of course,
I was holding on. The breathing, man. It's just, if I were alone, who knows? It probably would have been ugly.
Yeah,
but
now that we're talking about it, that I don't know what it's for, but that commercial where the old man is like practicing the weight thing.
Yes, in Christmas.
So yeah. So his granddaughter can put the star on top of it. That got me too. I don't know if I full on cried, but I definitely like felt that one. Anyway,
you might have seen me play that, because I have worked that into the show every December at least once for the last 4 years or so. I love that commercial.
Me too. That's a really good one. But it sucks as a commercial because I don't remember what it's for, which is the entire point of a commercial. But
oh damn. Yeah, I don't know.
It's like Dunkin' Donuts or something. It's just like, what? How is any of this related?
Could be. It could be one of those things. Totally unrelated. Okay, now this next commercial is out of control. This is the snake commercial where the drug dealer in the street, his name is Snake. He's from the hood, and he is really giving you the hard sell on shit. And I think that the irony in this commercial for me is that the person who wrote the script for this was probably on some of the hardest shit you can possibly buy. And let's just watch it. It's 30 seconds long, and away we go. Let's go meet Snake.
Hey, little dude, send your mama and daddy out of the room. I gotta get you up on this. You know who I am. Snake, dealing in weed, coke, crack, your choice. Take one hit and you'll do anything to cop more. Steal from your mama, lie, cheat on your homeboys. But hey, that's the price you pay when you deal with dudes like me. Now, some folks will tell you that I'm dealing in poison. But hey, do I look like the kind of guy that would do that to a kid like you? Yes!
Dude.
Hey, little
dude.
I have no response.
Dude.
But it doesn't make me not want to do drugs. But maybe that was like pointed at a different demographic, you know?
I mean, I don't know. That one was that
8-year-old me. That one seemed older. Was that an older one, or
this is 1986?
Ah, okay.
That's
so,
the Snake Anti-Drug. 1986. I was 1 year old, and it's one of those things where I probably, if I were old enough to watch this, it wouldn't dissuade me from doing drugs, but it would give me a profile of the kind of person I would buy from.
Right.
So I'm not going to buy from people like this.
And the guy's like, quit calling me Snake, man. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. You just look like a guy that.
I wonder after the snake commercial came out, how many black drug dealers lost business, but white drug dealers, their business went up. I wonder if this had racial impacts.
I wonder if black drug dealers actually named Snake got like a little bit more popular, you know? Like, yo, dog, I saw your commercial. He's like, what do you want? Weed, crack, coke?
The real question is how many people started calling them Snake after this?
Right, or calling themselves Snake.
Yeah, calling themselves
Snake. I'm the guy in the commercial.
My gosh. Well, there you go. So that's Snake. You got to watch out for Snake. Now, here is the turtle tips. Everybody knows this. This is the very classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle marijuana ad from 90 or 91, whatever the hell it was. Chicken, turkey. Anyway, take a listen to this gem.
Hey, Joey, I got some stuff you just gotta try. What is it? Pot. You know, marijuana. Oh, well, I don't know. What, chicken?
Joey's in a jam. What should he do? Cake.
Get a pizza.
Excellent. Get a pizza. Get real.
Oh, no, let me just stop right there for a second. All these years later, 40 years later, I think Michelangelo actually had the right idea. And that's what you were talking about before as far as the pizza and the joints going together.
Right, we got some weed. Let's get some pizza.
See, Michelangelo knew exactly what he was doing. Anyway, let's go back.
What do? Cake.
Get a pizza.
Excellent. Get a pizza. Get real.
Get out of there.
You got it. Let's see if Joey's that smart.
I'm not chicken. You're a turkey.
He's right. Drug dealers are dorks. Don't even talk to him. Cowabunga!
There you go. Drug dealers are dorks.
I like how he pushed the much bigger kid out of the way and the kid just took it.
He took it. No, it wasn't even that. He was staring off he wasn't even staring off down the hall. He was staring into the tiles on the floor. His life had been changed so much, so quickly.
And he's like, all right, I just need to sell these 3 joints and then I'm out of the game forever. And then he's like, whoa, I made $15.
That's especially with those skinny things. Let's go back and look at those joints.
Right. What is it? Pot.
Look at that. All right, what are you gonna get for that? Especially in 1990? I don't know. You probably sell all those for about like $8.50.
Yeah, maybe. It depends on how much you need it. I've bought a joint like that for $5 before. I've rolled joints like that. They're not terrible. I never liked like the big fat. It's funny when I smoke weed by myself, I'll take like one hit for, several hours or whatever. And then I get together with my friends and stuff and they've got bongs and blunts. And when we were in high school, we had a gas mask with like the bowl on the front of it, and it would just make your face smell like weed. And then you would kiss your mom when you got home and she would look at you weird but wouldn't say anything because that's just how cool your mom was. Hypothetically, I mean, not taking a direct story from my actual life.
No.
But yeah, no, my parents never once called me out on my weed. But I know, looking back, I know that I just reeked all the time.
Oh yeah, it's almost it's like retroactive embarrassment because once you realize that you in no way, shape, or form were being smooth or inconspicuous, and that you were literally a comet of cannabis, and that you were carrying around with you a lagging tail of clashing aromas. You had the Axe body spray and the smell of the most pungent garden and salad herbs. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's ridiculous. So, but my mother never really gave me an issue. The biggest problem I ever had was in high school, coming home drunk and getting sick. She allowed me to kind of wobble my way upstairs, and I know she knew, and I kind of told myself that I was in the clear. But once the room started spinning and it was time to evacuate, that's when I got it. And
so did you have a mom standing at the bathroom door while you were puking in the toilet?
I drank at this high school football victory party. I managed to just at one point acquire myself a bottle of Black House, and I was just sipping on this shit right from the bottle for over the course of an hour and a half or something, to the point where I had a little bit over half of it. And I was feeling great for a little while, but I walked all the way home. All my rides, they went away, and I said, you know what, I don't want to be in a car anyway. I walked home. It was only about 2 miles away. I remember I was saying Hail Marys the whole time home, but I started screwing up the prayer, and that got me nervous because I thought I was like, this was bad. This was sacrilege. I'm drunk. And I'm saying prayers wrong and all that stuff. And then I finally got home. I got up to my bed and I said, Mom, she said, everything all right? And I said, yeah, I'm just tired. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I'm just tired, Mom. Everything's fine. Don't worry about me, your baby boy.
Don't worry about your baby boy. It's fine. So anyway, I went upstairs, and once it was time to get going, I'm there hugging the toilet, and I heard, don't, she's coming up the stairs, knocking on the bathroom door, open up the door. I actually reached behind me. I reached behind me to open the door as my head was still in the toilet. And I just sat there, and she was hovering over me. At this point, my brother's bedroom door open, and he peeked out, and he's looking at her, looking over my mother's shoulder as she's looking down at me. And she said, and the whole room smells like Blackberry Black House. And she says, "You look real fucking cool now, Frank, don't you? You look real fucking cool." And I said, "Please, just let me." I said, "Let me just be cool alone. I remember asking her that. Just let me be cool alone." That was, I wish I had smoked that night. I never had actually, no, there was one time I smoked so much that I got sick. That was
Were
in
you
college.
drinking also, or?
Yeah, but only, it didn't matter. At that point, as much as we were smoking, it didn't matter. Just a couple of beers would have turned your stomach at that point. And I took a long break after that, talking about years, because I said, oh. So anyway, being young, thank God we survived it all, because
Oh man, we did so many stupid things, dude. And yes, thank God. We used to there was a hill near my house. The road did a big loopy, drop thing, and we would go as fast as we possibly could, and we would like hover for a second as the car got air off of this hill, And then we got to the point we would lay down in the back of my friend's truck while he did it. So then you're laying down and just hovering for a second or two, and then you slam back down. And yeah, I mean, any one of us could have just flown out, got ran over. I think somebody did actually at some point. Nobody that I knew, but that on that same hill, a death occurred. We used to, if there was like a blind hill, where you can't see what's coming on the other side, we would get in the left lane and go, hey, let's see what happens, and just drive over this blind hill in the left lane. And luckily, no one was ever there coming directly at us, But just stupid teenage shit that, looking back now, it's like, my God, if my child ever did that, I would flip my shit.
But that, what's scary about it, Mike, is as you're telling me that story, I'm thinking about two similar things that happened in different settings. There's this one road around, a few miles away called Pumpkin Road. And this shit had, there's probably lights on the road now, but it was a winding road with no lights. And at night, there's a couple of times friends of mine took us down there, and they turned off the car's headlights and went for a roller coaster ride down this winding road that was already dark. It was like going through hell, dude. But there was some kind of a sick thrill that we got out of it. There was another one. My friend Matt. It was his first. Car ever. Not Matt from the show over here, but my other friend Matt. It was his first car ever, and he had this red minivan. We used to call it the fire truck. It was an old red minivan. And he was already a bad driver because he was just a fidgety kind of guy, and he was always very nervous. But we would go up this hill and we would wait until the light at the bottom of the hill, which was part of an intersection, turned green, and then we would shoot down the hill and just vroom, because everything in this car shook as if you were like it was almost as if you were in the space the space shuttle and its re-entry into the atmosphere. Everything was shaking. And we would go down at the bottom of the hill and boom. But I think now, especially with the quality of driver he was, if he just jerked the wheel somehow and we went into a telephone pole, forget about if another car had blown a red light or something like that. And you talk about the stupidity of being young. Could I have, if I were to go back in time right now, could I have even convinced myself not to do it? Could me, if I went face to face with myself young in 18, 19 years old, and 40-year-old Frank went up to 19-year-old Frank and said, Frank, I know what you're going to do tonight with Matt and Vin and everybody else. Don't do it. Don't get in that car. Don't do it. I wonder if I would even listen to myself.
I probably not.
Hey, that's scary, man. That's scary to think about.
Any 40-year-old to me at 19 might as well have been a 70-year-old, just whatever, old man. I saw a thing the other day that just showed like two parallel lines going up like this, and it was like your current age and the acceptable age of people you will date, or something like that. And it stuck out to me because I just raised my Facebook dating age to 50 when it had been at 40 for so long. And I was like, you know what? There's some hot 50-year-olds out there. Let's see what happens.
Oh, there's plenty.
But now Facebook dating is showing me like 59-year-olds and shit. And I'm like, no, gross. What are you thinking? But in 10 years, I'll be like, I don't know, man, those 59-year-olds. Basically, you just have to look like what my generation of people currently look like,
right, Right.
If you're older than that, then I think that you look like my mom or my older sisters or something like that.
It's got to be
Anyway.
it's got to be a familiar level of degradation.
Right.
It's like, okay, yeah, I'm at I'm at that stage too. It's
but
like
it goes up the other way too, where I'm like 23. Like, no, dude. Like,
no.
I don't want to deal with that.
No way in hell. No way in hell. I think that's the comforting thing there too. As I'm, this very momentous, birthday for me last week, but I in no way, shape, or form, and maybe when I'm on my deathbed, I'd like to be in high school again. I don't know, but right now I absolutely do not. I just don't. There's just so many things about it that is just like, ugh, God, no way. And especially all the people don't even, I don't know, working a lot of things out. But 23 seems like an alien world at this point. Here's one last commercial. Then we're going to go on a quick break. Actually, I got two commercials. Let's do them real quick. Here's the one from last night, Mike. I had to bring it back in because it's so over the top. I didn't actually even know if this was real because I didn't remember it. But I have
the meth thing.
Yes, I have confirmed that this is real. Here it is for meth.
Look at me, busy as a bee. Where'd I get all this energy? Oh, meth, meth. I don't sleep and I don't eat, but I've got the cleanest house on the street. Oh, meth, meth. Get these hairs all out of my face. Get these bugs all out of my place. One more hit, no time to waste. Oh, meth, meth.
Now, to high school age me, all that says is, man, chicks that do meth just sit around in their socks and underwear and a little tank top. Like, I want to do meth with chicks now.
There's also there's like a Gollum aspect to her. Like, she turned into, over the course of that 30-second commercial, she went from Smeagol to Gollum. And, at first she's just kind of, washing some things and whatever. She still looked kind of well kept. And then immediately she had lesions all over her head and her hair's falling out. It's like, damn, man, I guess it comes at you hard. My real question, but that leads us to our last one here. And this is a special message from the Narcotics Task Force in NYC. This was also back in 1986. This is the Crack Kills PSA. That's very famous. I actually think it was referenced or made an appearance in that Cocaine Bear movie. But either way, this is real, straight out of New York City, and boy, is it intense.
This is crack. We're smoking crack. It's like putting a gun in your mouth and pulling the trigger.
What? That's it?
That's it. That's 1986. That's how New Yorkers talk to each other. One more time. One more time.
We're smoking crack. It's like putting a gun in your mouth and pulling the trigger.
That's it.
I don't know. I mean, none of these seem to do what they want them to do, but I maybe somebody who knows somebody else who was a crackhead watched that and went, they right about that.
Listen, there's a few effective ones like throughout there's one I remember of this father that was talking to a headstone at a cemetery, and it was a little bit less geared toward marijuana or anything, but you know, it is reality that some kids who also come from good upbringings can get mixed up either through peer pressure or something else and become just biochemically hooked on something and ruin a life that was very carefully set up with love from loving parents. I mean, so there are ones that really hit the mark, but compared to all the other ones that created just so much laughable, corny noise. Yeah.
There were a few that I remember that you didn't show. The one was the cartoon one. It wasn't a cartoon, but it was like sort of like a pen drawing of a dog talking to a person just laying around, and he was like, "Why do you do drugs?" or whatever. And then the other one was where the girl is all the air is taken out of her, and she's like deflated on the couch. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think. I mean,
there's so many of them, though.
Sounds
There's
familiar.
new ones now, too, though. Have you seen any of those?
No, I haven't. You know what? Well, go ahead. I haven't seen any new ones.
I don't know if it's from the White House or something, or if it's just going off that. Anyway, there's like fentanyl PSAs that are out now, too, that I've seen recently.
Okay. Well, I have to keep my eyes open for it. I was actually thinking about, and the reason why I picked the thumbnail for tonight's show, Saved by the Bell, is because I started wondering to myself if all of the television series that are out there right now, especially the ones for after school series like Saved by the Bell that we were watching, if they still do the obligatory drug abuse episode that we used to get with everything, everybody, every show had the drug abuse episode. And of course, Jesse Spano getting hooked on the caffeine pills is just one for the books. But I wonder
I wonder if they wrote that episode as her doing like actual speed or coke or something like that, and the executives were like, "Look, we can't. You got to change it to something that kids will understand." And all that episode did is made me scared of how much coffee my mom and dad drank, because I was like, that's caffeine. You're going to become a drug addict like Jesse.
It is hey, listen, it's a substance. It is a drug. Mm-hmm. It is a drug. It's one
I'm drinking it right now, and it's 7 p.m. at my house. But I'm doing this too, so I wouldn't normally be drinking coffee at 7 p.m.
It wouldn't be making something coffee talk. It automatically elevates the entire exchange. So I'm glad that you're drinking something and having a good time. Do something for me, Mike. Hang out just on the other side of intermission, and then I want to do some reel reviews with you. We're going to review some reels that you and I have actually been saving as a group effort a little bit. I put them in order. I put them in category. I think we're going to have a little bit more fun. Thank you for reviewing those old school PSAs, and we will be back in flash, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. Back after this.
The Lord Jehovah has given unto you these 15, 10 commandments.
Quite frankly, he's amazing.
Okay. So before we get back into what we are doing over here, I want to jump over to the super chats across all of them right now. We'll start with quite frankly superchat.com, which, ladies and gentlemen, it's always going to be there because, you know, it's fun. It's great to see something like our super chats and limited monetization, because we never make anything off of views on YouTube because of the music that we use anyway. It's nice to have that back, but Stream Elements, I think, takes only 3% out of there. Rumble takes 20% out of every Rumble rant. I think 30% is still the standard for Google. So I appreciate everything, but I'm never going to get rid of Stream Elements. Quite frankly, superchat.com, and whatever the hell is there, I'm always going to forward my URL to a universal, semi-independent super chat platform, just in case anything gets lost again. And it's also the best rates there. So have fun, support the show, but I'll never get rid of the old one, and you can always still use it, and I'll always be monitoring it. With that, thank you, Jay Britt says, TGIF, Frank, congratulations on the reinstatement of YouTube Super Chats. And Mike, damn, brother, I don't believe I'd have told that. He's probably talking about the whoopsie, living as a man with herpes. That's what he's probably talking about. But I think you can. I think you can say it now because everything's in the clear, and I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's why I talk about it now, because now it's fine.
See?
I wouldn't tell the story if I was like, so I got herpes, right? I mean, maybe I would. I've worked with some comedians who openly joke about their current herpes, but still, I don't know. It's different now because it's in the past.
It is.
It's fine.
That's it. No, I loved it, and I'll always remember that, and I think this is a great episode already, just because of that. It was a great way to start. Car Guys New England says, Frank, I hope you had a great birthday. God bless. I did. It was I had a great time on Wednesday on my actual birthday. It was great that Sunday before when I saw more family and friends that I expected to. And last week really was it was wonderful. It was a nice mix of everything.
We texted on your birthday, I believe, and I didn't say shit. I'm a dick.
What did we say to each other?
I don't remember. I mean, what day is your birthday?
Last Wednesday, the 2nd.
The 2nd. Oh no, I guess we talked on the 31st. So, okay, whatever.
It's all right.
But it's like, I hate when it's my birthday and somebody calls and they're like, hey man, what's going on? And you don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, it's my birthday, just hanging out doing.
I
so
know.
You got to just be like, oh, nothing. And then you talk to the person for 30 minutes and then you're mad at them all day because you're like, motherfucker didn't even think about my birthday.
At the same time, I find it as a really good exercise in humility, where I am committed to not telling anybody it's my birthday unless it comes up in conversation, or if I can't wiggle out of it, I'm going out tonight. Oh yeah, what's the occasion? Oh, it's my birthday. I'm not going to lie to the bitter end. Well, just dinner plans.
But then you get that, like, why didn't you say anything, dude? And it's like, I just, I don't want to be the it's my birthday guy.
Yeah.
I had an aunt like that who would call us every year and just be like, it's my birthday. And my mom would be like, I know, happy birthday.
Well, why didn't your mom call her first?
because it would be like while she was making breakfast. So it was like a 9 a.m. phone call. There's more to the story, but that's not.
She was making the rounds at that point.
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, well, it's my birthday. I better call everybody.
Here's a couple more. Hey, would you blow me too? Says, I think it's in Japan that they have vending machines where you can buy dirty panties and socks. I caught herpes from the Quite Frankly tanning booth. See, I told you, you got to watch out. Go in there with your own wipes. Haywood also says, watch I Do Not Freebase Cocaine on YouTube. Watch that. Oh, yeah. What is that?
That's that guy. It's like a Johnny Carson style interview where he's like, I don't drink no more. I don't freebase cocaine. I'll do a little toot every once in a while, and I will have a drink every once in a while. Yeah, it's just a whole contradictory thing where he's like, I'm clean and sober, but sometimes.
So I'm gonna have to look at this. Man, I probably know what it is.
It's enjoyable, and I don't think it's very long.
Okay. Jay Semo says, cheers. I'm in on Saturday's show. Good. I can't wait to be here tomorrow night. Just taking calls from people. Over on YouTube, it's been a long time since I did this. John Volts says first. John Volts is the first in 5 years. Wow. Thank you so much, John.
Nice.
Yes. Lisa Gray, thank you so much, my friend. It's good to have you out there. Wow. You can now like super chats and you can reply to them as well. I have to relearn the ropes over here. Lisa, thank you so much. Mark Swan says, where do I deposit my ass coin? Yes, that's right. That's part of the poll that I have in the chat room right now that is up. I wanted to know if YouTube accepts ass coin as payment now, because I don't know what goes on monetarily here. The ass coin, Mike, is one of my favorite shit coin names. There's a lot of different crypto coins out there, meme coins and stuff. One of my favorite of shit coins is ass coin. I like that.
And that's a real thing that exists.
Yeah, there's a lot of really freaky ones out there, and they're hilarious. But there's something about ass coin that is just, it's so not clever that
Right.
it's I love the way it hits. It hits like a dead fish, and I just love that. Let me see here. Daniel Zermeno says, good news, Frank. I'm a subscriber, but I'll pitch in when I can. Great show, brother. Well, thank you, Daniel. And again, this is just another way to get people who are watching. It's a very easy way to get a thought, an opinion, a shout out, anything onto the record quickly. And it's always been a good utility, no matter where it is, which is why we set up the universal one when we lost this one. It's very important, especially for support of the show in general. ST says, what? Is this the real life? Happy Friday, Frank and all the Franklies. Soon, and then AK says, soon after Susan kicks the bucket, you get super chats back. Coincidence? I think not. Thank you, AK. I don't know if it had anything to do with that, but the timing is suspect. Grimbold72 says, congrats on super chats, Frank. Love you. Rev says 30% off the top for Google. Hella gay. And then Gut Instinct 1776 says, congrats, Frank. Thanks, Gut. Thank you so much. You guys are all really, it's made my night. Really did. Zach Zorlax says, Mike Baldwin talks like butthead. Have you ever heard that before, Mike?
Yeah, a lot. I don't know.
I was going to say, does it come out? Oh,
no,
man.
Butthead talks like me. All right. I existed before Beavis and Butthead did. So clearly Mike Judge discovered who I am. I don't know. No, this is just that. It's just how I talk, dude. I apologize, everybody.
Oh, it's good. No, I'm fine with it.
Sorry that I sound like this.
It's fine. It's almost like the people. If you go out there, like when a singer starts finding his voice, and people say, "Oh, he's just imitating so and so," and again, I start, maybe to a certain degree. Like for example, you have that Eddie Vedder, Scott Stapp. That everybody's kind of all over the place. We had that for a while.
Yeah, Collective Soul and stuff. That
kind of
shit.
That whole thing there too. And you wonder, or even like for a while there too, with punk and pop punk. Well, when Green Day, before they really went punk mainstream pop on all that shit, there is a element of punk that was always faking British accents as well. You know, I just wonder if you wanted to start a punk band at a certain time, you had to you have to do shit like that. I don't know. I always wonder that. But then again, whatever comes out. And if I sound like somebody else, then whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. And then that makes me wonder where the cycle begins. You know, is it the Hollywood bigwigs that are like, you gotta only find guys that can sing like this? Or is it guys that are like, we have to sing like that in order to get in there? Like, are they choosing to do this, or are they being forced to act this way? Or is it just a natural flow of time sort of thing where it's like that whole generation just wants to sing rock songs that sound kind of whiny, you know? It reminds me like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I feel like made fun of those kind of singers when they started saying stuff like noise and toit and stuff like that. Like those are the kind of like rock songs from back then, you know? Come over to my house, that kind of stuff. I don't know, whatever.
No. And you want to know something? Whenever something was hot, like, for example, there's always been a lot of talk about how much of the grunge scene out in the Pacific Northwest, where that all really came out, like Seattle, that whole area right there, how much of the grunge scene was authentic, and how much was just at once something that sound started taking off, that Nirvana, wherever it was, labels have a tendency to see what is resonating with music consumers at a time, and they will start cobbling together the bands. They will actually start assembling bands. And there was always a number of bands coming out of that scene around that time in the late 80s, very late 80s, early 90s, that actually I think isn't Pearl Jam supposedly one of those label cobbled together bands? I don't know. I wish Anthony was here for this. I forget all the
I believe it either way.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you no matter what.
Well, okay. Well, there you have it. We'll see what happens. I love Stone Temple Pilots still. I never really listened to too much Pearl Jam. I listened to a lot of Soundgarden. I never listened to a lot of Mudhoney. The only thing I know about Mudhoney was their cameo in that Chris Farley movie, Black Sheep. They were playing on stage during the political rally, the Get Out the Vote rally toward the end. Mudhoney was there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's one of those movies that I love that's just not a good movie, you know?
Yeah. Alice in Chains, of course.
Alice in Chains for sure. Yeah, that's what I was going to say a second ago.
Yeah, I know you had whatever. Mustard Plug wasn't that wasn't up there though. But I know that Melvins and anyway.
I was never really into all of that music was playing during like high school and college stuff in the background, but I didn't choose that music most of the time. Like when I was at home, I like girl singers now that I'm an adult, because like my theory, and then we'll get to the reels and stuff, but my theory is like guys whose dads are like car mechanics or something, they grew up hearing like rock music while their dad's working on cars and shit. So they like the banging and that kind of stuff. And I grew up listening to like my mom cook in the kitchen and like singing Reba McEntire and Linda Ronstadt and shit. So I think that just got stuck in my head as like pleasant memories of like women singing and just life being good, you know?
Oh, absolutely. You know what? That's how I feel about freestyle. That's how I feel about freestyle music.
Freestyle like rap?
No, freestyle. Like that late 80s electronica sound, like Cynthia and all them. Hold on, let me hold on. I'm going to give you something. Freestyle music. Here. Let's see here. All right, here's something. This sound just reminds me of what obviously was getting, pumped out in a lot of clubs when my aunts were still young enough and to be going out and all the women in my family just on a weekend who are going out to a party or a club or something like that, and I would be just 5, 6, 7, 8 years old and all that, just watching everybody getting ready to go to a party that I was too young to go to, but I got to watch all of them put their makeup on, and I can smell the Aquanet and all that shit. So and then also in the summertime when they're all in the backyard tanning and shit like that, it reminds me of Hawaiian Tropic tanning oil. Smells like that coconut finish. It's like car wax. But these are the things, man. The sounds and the smells, they all go together and they create good feelings.
It's funny how my grandma, when she was 5 years old, the smells that she caught were like fresh flowers and bread baking and that kind of stuff. And our memories of good smells are all just chemicals, are just let's spray this Aquanet in the air. And now when I smell that as an adult, I'm like, oh, the memories.
I love it. I
do too.
Love it. Sometimes it can be overwhelming.
I'll always love the smell of Bath and Body Works sun ripened raspberry because of my first sexual experience.
Sun ripened raspberry and my first sexual
that's
experience.
in my memory forever.
Well, maybe we can get around to that one night. I think that people have had their fill of herpes and all that stuff, but I want to hear about how sun ripened raspberry and the first sexual experience. Maybe you call in on a Saturday night. Actually, that sounds like a crazy story. You should call in tomorrow night.
Maybe I will.
Yeah.
It's not that crazy. I mean, it's just, the first girl that I ever hooked up with had sprayed that on herself. Not down there necessarily, but just that's what the room smelled like, you know?
No, I get you. That's vanilla lip. What is it? Vanilla lip gloss. There's a certain kind of vanilla lip gloss that every once in a while I'll get a hint of vanilla and I remember this certain lip gloss that an ex wore in high school, and it's weird. It's strange because again, we're talking about several lifetimes ago, and it almost feels like you're getting a whiff of something from another world. Almost like a ghost. You almost feel like a ghost just ran past you or something like that. And man, I'll tell you, the senses, they really allow you to time travel. That's the whole thing there. And if you can have full control over your senses, you can put yourself into another time. You could probably do some real warlock level shit right there.
Well, let's work on that for next time.
Okay. Over on quitefrankly.tv real quick. Cave Toad approves of Mike's presence here. Really loves you. Sending you a lot of love. Big Bird 38. Thank you. Doug Simmy. Light Spear. Doug Simmy sent a whole sleeve of cookies. Crown Weaver said, I would never inhale, just whiff it and whiff it good. And then Doug Simmy again with a ship, and C Blanche with a cookie. Okay, are you ready for some reels?
I am.
Okay, now we're going to modern day. Here's what we did. Now, Mike and I have been putting together reels in our own separate chat on Instagram, and I've curated some of the ones that we have put together. Now, the first two, I'm just categorizing these. Both of these came from Mike, and I love this meme format. This is the Michael Bay Transformers cliffhanger meme, where at the end of a Transformers movie, the enemy just starts moving his finger again, so you know he's not totally dead. This is probably a cliffhanger for another installment of the series. And the first one you sent over is a George Bush. It's George Bush. Hold on. Here it is. And the caption is, when I told her that I came from a toxic relationship, and she starts hugging me like I'm the victim. And now we see, along with the Michael Bay Transformers Linkin Park ending, the person who edited that, as they're editing, they knew that they had gold. And that's a good feeling right there.
I just like his eyebrows up, like, hey, if she wants to think that, that's fine with me.
Now, here is the example, and again, both of these came from Mike. Here's the example of the Michael Bay Transformers cliffhanger meme. Can work with almost anything. I'm sure there's something that will fall flat. This doesn't, and all it involves is the testicles of a lion. Hold on. You ready? Hold on. Here's the testicles of a lion when you thought the main character died, but then he pulls this off at the end of the movie.
I just like how they're still for so long. And then just the slightest movement. I'm going to recreate that tonight.
Oh, the slightest, because all you need is the slightest movement. It's,
Right.
it's almost like at the end of Inception when the totem, the
top wobbles.
But you don't know. Sometimes you place a trick. Did it wobble? It did. Was it going down, or was it going to correct itself? Some of the comments are great. Lion King 2, post nut clarity. Okay. All right. So this next one, let's see here. This next one we moving away from the Michael Bay cliffhanger memes. Oh, this one I got. It was just interesting, to be honest. This guy, Chris Roberts, he has an account, and he went to this ISS prop house. I guess essentially it's a warehouse where they sell props for movies, for whatever the hell it is. And he was shown a collection of fake gym weights that apparently tons of fitness influencers use to make videos. And I just thought that this was a little bit more, illuminating than it was funny, because the internet is awash in fitness influencers. And there's always somebody saying, there's something inauthentic about many of them, from, what supplements they're using and how they're training. And I mean, I remember I even had some sort of I had some doubts about Sylvester Stallone. He was doing these lateral delt raises with 45-pound dumbbells. And I know he's jacked, and I know he does the testosterone replacement and all that stuff, but I don't know, something about it just made me feel like it wasn't real. Maybe it is. I don't know. But there's a lot of people faking it out there. And here's where they get their fake stuff. Take a listen to this. So Chris Roberts right now has supposedly a 50-pound dumbbell in his hand that is apparently only really like 5 pounds.
That's like light as a feather.
Right,
but
right.
There's like that thing in our world to where you'll notice like an empty coffee cup and someone's just like, man, it looks fake. Or they pick up a big bag of like $10 million and they just carry it like nothing.
Right.
So we want some like actual weight in. So these 80s are like actually like 15s.
Really? Let me see. Oh, shit.
It's an 80-pound dumbbell.
So you get a little bit of struggle. They're real popular with like the TikTok like fitness influencers.
Shut the fuck.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Everything's fake.
Nothing's real.
Everything's fake.
Can't trust anything on the
So this is what I have at home, to be honest. Oh.
You hear that?
And that makes me wonder, you've seen that video of like the janitor in the gym, and the guys are like struggling on something, and then the janitor, who's actually like super strong dude, comes over and like picks it up with one hand.
Yeah.
I wonder if those are just all actors.
I don't know. I always figured that the guys that because apparently the janitor, I forget who the hell he is, but I think that he is actually a legit Olympian level power lifter. Like he had.
Yeah, I've heard that, but
as far I don't know how much cooperation there is with the people that he's supposedly moving in on in the middle of a workout. If there's like some cooperation beforehand, a heads up, play along, I don't know. But I think him in particular, there might be somebody out there who's just, again, throwing around fake weight. But I think him in particular, he has some legit status in powerlifting world. But I know what you mean.
Trust him, but you don't trust Sylvester Stallone?
I don't know. There was just something about it that didn't make it. It just didn't. Who the hell knows?
Yeah, well, nobody does now, and that's the rub.
That's
now
it.
I don't know who to trust.
It's all right. Well, thankfully, I don't go to them for very much. Then again, they don't give much advice out, and a lot of the advice is just so bad off the bat. There's a couple people out there I really respect in the fitness world that are on YouTube, but I don't know. I've cobbled together so many different things over the years of just working in that field myself. not online, but that's what I was doing before this became full time. I was personal training for a long time. And then, I don't know, there's just a lot. And I still have a lot of friends that are in that world. So if I have any help, if I need any help, or if I have imbalances, I'll go to buddies like my friend Rob or my friend Brendan or anything else, and they'll help me out. And
I can see how like professionals are helpful when you get to specifics like that, like, hey, I want to build this particular muscle. Like, what can I do? But when it goes from just being a dude like me, if you're just a piece of shit and want to not be anymore, all of that advice that people make millions of dollars on is just so generic. And it's like, yeah, I know. Like, once they tell it to you, they're like, well, are you eating late at night? Are you eating a lot of bad food? Do you exercise? And it's like, yes, and no. And they're like, all right, well,
change
exercise, quit eating late at night. And it's like, yeah, I know, dude. I know what I should do. Like, I want the secret.
See, the secret is, and this is why personal training, people don't, depending on how long you stay in that line of work, you realize what you're actually doing. You are really there for psychological support. Most people know that very basic guidelines to eating within constricted windows, not noshing at 1 o'clock in the morning, going for a 45-minute walk every day, doing some light stretching, all that stuff, and just being consistent with it. That it's so easy. It really is. And most people know that just through common sense. But the whole point is, if you need to be able to make a choice that you want something to change, because it's easy to get caught in bad habits. A lot of those habits can be rooted in emotional decisions and just, self-medicating for one reason or another. Or
I'm lucky. I don't have any bad habits. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I'm just serious. And so really, as a personal trainer, you're there to just motivate somebody to do what they can probably cobble together on their own. But, if it's just like there's camaraderie there, and there's mostly psychological support, aside from making sure that they are executing their exercises with proper form and shit like that, obviously. But it's a lot more of a psychological game. And that's why going to gym with a buddy, it helps out a lot. I mean, you push each other, unless you're both goofballs.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why people pay a personal trainer, because then they get to the point where they're like, God damn it, I don't want to piss Frank off. I got to go to the gym.
That's what it was.
Yeah. And then when they're done, they're like, man, I'm glad I did that. That's how everything healthy is, You don't want to do it while you're doing it, but after it's over, you're like, God, I'm glad I made that choice.
Absolutely. We got to do more on that, because there's a lot of, I think you want to talk about reels and everything else, we can probably go in on some of the crazy advice people are giving each other on the internet one day. I think that'll be cool to have different categories of reactions that we can put out there. But here's one for you. This is, again, another category that you suggested that I also love. And that is, taking these musical bits where somebody will say something like, there's you're primed with just a random thing,
a situation,
right? And that random situation is then responded to with a very specific line in a song, and it just makes it funny there. For example, you sent me a Celine Dion one, and hold on, let me see here. So
her first day. that's what makes me laugh. I don't know why, but
so okay. So the premise here is Celine Dion on her first day as a loan advisor, and here she is on the first day of it. And I think the reason why all of this music category of meme is so hilarious is because the theatrics. Like, imagine going to an office to work out a loan that you need, and this is who you got, and she breaks out into song. I love that. It makes me feel good.
And she does the kick at the beginning. You're like, whoa, I don't know if I'm interested in this place.
Now this next one, Mike, I've loved this one for a while, and you sent it to me, and I'm glad you did. It it's Toto, okay? And obviously, this is one of their, I think this is their best song. Forget about that. This is one of the greatest songs ever crafted. Okay, Hold the Line. It's one of the greatest songs ever crafted, in my opinion. But Mike, last night, this is 100% true. I woke up several times last night because I've been sleeping weird lately anyway. But I woke up several times thinking about this video and immediately smiled to myself because it was in my head. I knew that you and I were going to talk about it. And again, we're going to Toto. And the premise here is, can you move your car? Somebody walked up and said, listen, hey man, can you move your car? And here's the response. Oh, no. I'm not going to ruin this. I have to make Instagram mutes it all at first. Can you move your car? And it keeps going. It almost sounds like he's teasing the other person. It's not in the way. It never gets old for me, these things.
Those are really funny, dude.
This one's been passed around 5 or 6 times. And I always resend it to the same people because why shouldn't everybody see it more than once? It's not in the way. I just love how theatrical it is just to do something as simple as say that the car that you're asking me to move is actually not in the way.
I imagine it as a roommate because I had a situation like that where we had one driveway. So we had one guy parked behind the other one, and we would have to move our cars all the time when the stuck person needed to get out. So it, hit home extra for
in the way.
But yeah, I've been the same way. I've been singing that line in my head over and over since I sent that to you the other day.
This is, I think, this. I just pulled this out of my I have this as a raw file over here. Every once in a while, I put it into my commercial breaks, but it's a Nirvana Unplugged edit. It doesn't respond to a premise like the Celine Dion or the Toto one does. But I just love it because it's juvenile and
is this the cum.
It's the cum one. It's the cum one.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, come as you are. But now it's just cum. Beautiful. The 90s were the best, as you can see.
They really were.
Yeah. Oh, man. I think it's that. Well, hold on. There's actually 2 more here real quick. This one, again, I think you sent it to me, but I saw it before. It's this girl, I don't know, she's a TikToker or something, and she tells the story of how she was at the beach and she had a bunch, a small group of 11-year-old boys walk up to her.
Oh, yeah.
And ask her to pop a titty for the boys. And she claims it was nothing more than 11 years old. And it's cut in. The commentary is delivered by an older guy. He's probably around our age, who I think delivers just something that everybody needs to know. There's the girl take on this, which is, I can't believe they just did that. And then there's the guy take on this, which is, this has just become a canon moment in all their lives. And I love this. And here you go.
Group of 11-year-olds, like literally no older than 11, just asked if I would pop a titty for the boys.
Listen, as a former 11-year-old, whoever the fucking legend is that popped that question, that was a canon moment. That's going to be remembered in that friend group for the rest of eternity. So you don't even know the community service that you just did by existing for that moment to happen.
It's true.
It is very true. I'll still remember we used to do the line from Dazed and Confused whenever we would, if there was a male and a female standing somewhere, when we were riding in the car past them, one of us would go, "Hey, fucker, I did."
I feel like there's a couple of different, oh man, I feel like there's a memory right there for the taking. These are things that it just, if you didn't do it back then, you can't do it now. And like I think about all the things that we did in high school that really are embarrassing, but I'm glad that we did it because it's the only time you can get away with it to create the memory. And maybe you would have done something different these days, but an 11-year-old to walk up to an older girl that's in high school or something and say, "Pop a titty for the boys."
In a group of 5 or 6 other 11-year-olds, and they're all going, "Dude, no!" Like you don't say that, but then at the same time, it's like, I can't believe Scotty said that.
And it's and the Scotty in the group is the one that you can rely on to go well beyond what is in bounds, and you kind of want him to do it, but don't want him to do it at the same time,
right?
And you're living vicariously through him. It's crazy.
Somewhat related. I remember in high school, my friend Josh. I don't know. I know it was from a movie, but I don't remember what. But if we were at like an assembly or something, and everybody was quiet at the opportune time, Josh would always go, "I'm gay, all right."
That's the best. Those are the best outbursts. Those are the best outbursts. Oh my gosh.
Or like in a quiet scene in a movie, after a bunch of action and shit, and then everything gets quiet, and like 5 seconds later, then you just hear Josh go, "I'm gay, all right."
And the reaction from the room
it's always positive.
Yeah, always positive reaction. That's it. And a couple of people scoff. A couple of lemon faces will always scoff. All right, here's the last one I got for you, and this actually came from my wife, and I love it. All right, so here it is. My Lauren sent this to me. Some guy reworked the body of his speedboat to look like a classic Chevy truck, and he goes on an absolute tear, and it looks like a Chevy truck is really like going 100 miles an hour plus over the surface of the water in this lake. Take a look at this. The driver is fearless. The guy in the passenger seat is scared for his life. But look at the external. Now, dude, that is all. Now here, somebody said, name one thing that Europeans could never understand. Farm truck. And somebody else commented. One of the top comments is, can you imagine a peaceful day sunning yourself or fishing on the lake, and bam, a 1985 Chevy truck passes by at 100 miles per hour on the lake. It was really awesome. I just had to put it up there.
That is pretty awesome. That's one of those things that I would definitely do if I had an unlimited income stream.
Oh man, I wonder if there's any more information.
Go to quitefranklysuperchat.com and help Frank make his dream come true of boating out a truck.
You know what's funny? I have a neighbor who has been trying to sell this boat, a small little fishing boat, motorboat, for 7 years now. At first, he was trying to sell it for about $8,000. It is now down to $1,800 with the trailer included. You can drop this thing into water right now and it'll run. But of course, if you're not looking to get into that life, which is, where are you docking it, fuel costs, maintenance, actually using it, all that stuff, where are you keeping it in the off season, all that. It's a lot more than just $1,800, because that in itself is like, wow, for $1,800 I can own a boat and a trailer. That sounds like, well, why not own a boat? But where do you gonna fucking keep the damn thing? If this was really something, a passion of mine, and we were going to crowdfund something like this, I already know the place I would start. I would get that boat, and then we have to figure out how to change the body. Like, I wonder how he actually created the look of that 1985 Chevy, because it looks boxy and everything like that. So there has to be some sort of an outside frame on top of a regular looking boat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it would be that difficult if you had all the stuff and maybe like some welding knowledge or something, because it's probably all welded together, but it's probably really light. And compared to the weight of a whole truck, if you take the engine and all the other parts out, it's not nearly as heavy. So it would probably add, like 3 or 4 people sitting on a boat, like that amount of weight to it,
That's it. It has to be. It has to be. Well, you know what, man? This was a really fun night. It's 8:45. We almost did the entire 2 hours together. And
sorry.
No, man. This is what I was planning on. I said, we got to do the PSAs in the first half. We'll do some real reviews in the second half. It sounds like a nice little format whenever you come by. There's always reels out there, and it's good. It really is. So what do you got coming up? Seems like you've been a little bit more busy as of late. You're doing well online, and tell everybody where to find you and where to keep up in between appearances here.
Like it says under my name, you can just go to mikeisfunny.com. My friend Fraser's birthday was the other day. Happy birthday, Fraser. My sister's birthday is next week. Happy birthday, sister. What else? I'm going to be in Sedalia, Missouri on the 19th, which is the day before Easter, which is probably not the best day to book a show, but whatever. I should have looked up where the hell it is, but if you Google Sedalia, Missouri comedy show, it's probably that one. What else did I write down? Oh yeah, me and my friend Tim Gaither do a podcast every week. We call ourselves the Truthicans because we're not Republicans, we're not Democrats, we're just seeking the truth, bro. But it's like, politics and that kind of shit, and we just talk shit about everything and talk about how Q is probably real and Trump is awesome and everybody else is stupid and that kind of stuff. So check us out. We're on Rockfin always, and then we're on everything else sporadically. We need a third person to put us on the internet and stuff. But we're getting there. Yeah. We're baby steps.
Little by little. What was I going to ask you about? With your live gigs, do you ever start an Instagram live or go live on Twitter? What is essentially used to be Periscope. You should definitely do that, man. I mean, you should put it. You have a stool up there with you. Get yourself one of those $10 iPhone or Android tripods. And
do you want to see the thing that I actually use? It's right here. Hold on.
Oh, you do go live? Oh, all right.
This is my GoPro, and then it's got the little clamp thing at the bottom, and then I always get to make an anal beads joke right when I get on stage.
Oh my gosh.
The gooseneck is very anal beady, but that's what I record most of my stuff with. I don't know if the GoPro has a live function or how that all works, but no, because I did the comedy special that came out in December or whatever of last year, and I still haven't written enough new good stuff that I'm not still doing some stuff that was on the comedy special. So I feel like if I do it live, then not that anybody watched the comedy special, so I don't know what I'm worried about, but it's like, my fear is always people will be like, we've seen him do all of this stuff before, which is why I'm scared to just go live. But you might have just inspired me to maybe give it a shot.
Well, especially on nights that you know that you're going to do, you're preparing yourself mentally to do at least 20 minutes of improv and audience work.
Yeah.
That right there, I mean, you can have your phone ready. You can have Instagram Live or something ready to go on your tripod while your GoPro is also just recording it for posterity. But on the tripod, you should have that ready to go. And so that whenever that improv section comes up, you just hit the button and you forget that that's even there and you just do your thing. I think that'd be a lot of fun and more stuff to put up.
Yeah, I've always, when I imagine it, I imagine all of the and your next comedian, Mike Baldwin, and me going, hi. But you're right. If I tell the audience in the middle, after I've already been funny for a while, all right, now I'm going to wing it and we're going to go live. So everybody be supportive and whatever. That would be fun. Maybe I will. We'll see what happens.
Well, either way, Mike, we wish you the best. And I'm looking forward to having you. What did we say? What are you coming back on again? The 25th?
The 24th, I think you said.
I think
it's 2 weeks from today?
It's 2 weeks from today. It's like I think I had you down for every other Friday for a little while.
Oh, no, the 25th is the Friday.
Okay.
So, but you said perhaps the 25th. So I'll wait until you confirm that.
No, we're doing the 25th.
Okay, 25th
so
it is.
We'll see you then. In the meantime, be well. And if you're ever watching the show and the lines are open and you have something to contribute, obviously don't hold back. This is not like this is your your one-time token. I'm calling in too much.
You're like, why are you calling, Mike? You're going to be on the show.
It's weird. Stop making it weird.
All right.
Anyway. All right, brother.
Cool.
Thanks for everything tonight.
Thank you, Frank. Bye, Franklies.
Take care, everybody. And we'll take care, Mike. And everybody, if you go out to go check him out, remember, walk up to him and say, hey, I've seen you on Quite Frankly, especially all of our friends and that are in the audience that are hanging out and living in Missouri. Please. Jay Semo on Rumble says, cheers. I'm in on Saturday's show. Oh, we already had that, but thank you again, Jay. Rubino82 says, Third Eye Blind and Our Lady Peace. Third Eye Blind was one of those bands I learned to appreciate a lot more years later. Same thing with Incubus to a degree. Same thing with 311. I never really bought in. I'm not a super fan or anything like that. But I didn't. I felt like I had no time for that. When they were really big, but now I appreciate them. Wintrell over on YouTube says, "Welcome back to Super Chats, Frank." Wow, Wintrell, it's crazy how many people you haven't seen in a while. Well, then again, I see Wintrell and I we talk on Twitter, but this is alien experience right now on YouTube. 5 years. Can't believe it's happened again. Linda Love says, does this thing work? Congrats, Frank. Well, Linda, thank you. All the love in the world to you. Hope all is well. Okay. Coffee Talk with Sandra says, such great advice. I wonder what advice that was. And Cave Toad says, 2 best days of being a boat owner, the day that you buy it and the day that you sell it. Trust me. I do trust you on that one. Seems like something that would be exhilarating, and then also a dreadful responsibility that's just always requiring your attention. And then again, it wouldn't be dreadful if it is your life and your passion, and that's just all you want to do, and you sleep on it sometimes, and you're hanging out with other boaters, and it's just life is complete. But I have to imagine that the day that you get it off your back is a great weight has been lifted. So thank you on that. There's a couple more things over here real quick as we're getting the night done and finished, because this was a wonderful, really, really wonderful night. Great Friday. Jay Britt says, Frank, look up Farm Truck on YouTube. It all started with drag racing. Farm Truck. Okay. So then that's probably the origin story of what we just saw in that reel. I'll go check that out for sure. I don't know. Tomorrow night, remember, ladies and gents, that we have a 9:00 date. So we're ending right now. This time tomorrow night, I'll be sitting here, maybe hookah in hand, getting ready to go live with Anthony on the other side of the room. And one phone line will be open. Well, actually, all the phone lines will be open, but there will be one topic, and that is crazy stories, the Crazy Story Hotline. Maybe I'll have some crazy stories from the news that we can just make ourselves, give ourselves some fodder along the way, but I'm sure that we'll have plenty of you calling in. Don't make the mistake of going to the website and everywhere else. It's just on Rumble. At least I think it is. I have to get some assurances from Rumble that this is actually something that we're doing, where it's going to be featured and stuff like that. But if that doesn't kick in, then I don't. Then obviously I'll open up all across. But for now, I would say go to Rumble tomorrow night, and we're gonna try something new. Just trying to shake hands and make deals and grow the show wherever we can. And I think there'll be a lot of fun. I can't wait to just hang out with you, even for a few minutes afterwards tomorrow night too, probably sometime around 11. So if we get out of here around 10, go home. I've heard some rumblings that some of the guys might be getting onto PlayStation to play either Midnight Murder Club or something else. So there might be a Twitch stream after that tomorrow night too. So I'm thinking about all this kind of weekend content and fun that we could be having, and I'll update you along the way. But this was really wonderful, and thank you guys for all of the company this week. It has been fantastic. Really has. There you have it. There's a couple other comments here that have to do with topics from earlier in the week that I don't want to break open right now, so I'll keep it in the notes, and we'll do that on Monday. On Monday, we'll be doing something a little bit more call-in based because I'll be getting on the air at 7:30 because of Aurora's baseball, 7:30 instead of 7. I think Timothy Alberino is going to be coming back on Wednesday because I have some things to ask him about. He's been on a tear lately. Michael Knowles, so many big, obviously he's good friends with Blurry Creatures, and he's been going on all these big shows lately. But I don't think I've had him on since last year, so wanted to get some things out, especially with what's going on with the Ark of the Covenant and the pyramids and so many other things happening. Brainless bodies. That'll be fun on Wednesday, and much, much more. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Have a wonderful Friday. Share this show far and wide, and become a sponsor. Become a sponsor of the show, please. It'd be wonderful. We're sending out coffee, and we're sending out Keto Brainz to everybody. But if you pledge on Subscribestar or Patreon, above $10 and above, at this point, I would love to sell out the Polaroids. I'd love to sell out the 2020 Club. That is the monthly video greetings. I have about 20 to 25 2007 Set the Charge albums. You can see shrink wrapped and everything. I want to give these out as well, on top of all of the coffee and the coffee additives and things like that. So, thank you. I love you. Have a wonderful night. After Hours is beginning on quitefrankly.tv right now, curated and engineered by John Carroll. It's Friday, so expand your mind and have a good time. Until tomorrow.
I'll catch you on the...
Will you shut up?